Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Reds fan channel. I'm Stu, your host, and we are here this evening to talk about all the latest Liverpool news involving transfers, club movements, all that sort of stuff. But before we do get into anything, please don't forget to leave a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 750 subs with the channel, where our growth has been going really, really well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. So firstly, we're going to go into the big news. Is it big news? It's news that's been doing the rounds, obviously, for the last week. FLORIAN WIRTZ, or WIRTZ, however you want to pronounce it. And it looks like there has been a little bit of to-ing and fro-in with the negotiations. Naturally, as negotiations go, we have seen some panic from some fans, and we have seen some calmness from others of whether this deal is going to get done. I'm going to offer my little bit of perspective on this. I'm going to say, look, let's have a chat in the comments. Put a comment in there. I'll answer it as best as I can. But from my personal perspective and looking at the headlines of it at the moment, our offer, I think, has been rejected or is going to be renegotiated. I think it's probably that rejection is a big term when you come into big contract talks and transfer fees. Excuse me. I think it's more of a renegotiation than anything else. And it's looking like Leverkusen want Harvey Elliot as well. Now, am I a fan of this one? No, I am a big fan of Harvey Elliot himself. But with his lack of game time, the couple of injuries that he's had over his career at Liverpool, I think have hampered him a little bit. And I do struggle to see where he would fit into this side. I'm not saying that he's not a decent player or anything like that. I still think he is a massive talent, but he deserves to be in a team where he could be the starting player. He has got the goods to do it quite easily. But would he be involved in the transfer negotiations for Wirtz to come over? I can't see it happening. Transfer market value, if we're having a look at things, and I'll load this up on transfermarket.co.uk. If we have a look at Harvey Elliot, his value is round about, I believe, 40 to 50 million, something like that. Okay, sorry, no, I was stand corrected. Market value, according to Transfer Market, is about 30 million euros. I personally think it's a little bit higher than that. But if Leverkusen are looking at that sort of valuation, that's why they're probably looking at it and trying to include it in the transfer deal. As it stands at the moment, we're about, apparently, we're about 20 million apart, roughly, there or thereabouts. Including Elliot in that deal, I think would circumnavigate that issue a little bit, where we don't want to pay too much more money. But I don't know whether I'll do that or not, to be fair. I really don't. And there is a page on Twitter called Verk Self Extra. They are a Bayer Leverkusen channel, and they put out a little thing that came from a couple of the German news sources. So I'll read it out verbatim. Leverkusen and Liverpool are still quite far apart on the transfer fee. The gap is more than 20 million, as I said. Both Liverpool's first and second bid have been rejected. They're doing that, using that word, rejection, to just get a little bit more traction out of the article. I think it's a renegotiation. That's what it is. It's just negotiating. It's not a rejection. It's just renegotiation. Bayern still apparently want nearer the 150 million. So that'll be around about 130 million pounds, something like that. But there's two possible situations or solutions out of this. Either the clubs narrow the gap with further negotiations on the transfer fee, or they add a player into the mix. Somebody like Harvey Elliot. That is a distinct possibility. Looking through the comments on this, Jen, thank you very much for viewing. Yes, I totally agree. At the moment, I totally agree. I think this is going to get done. Stuart Andrews, welcome to the chat. Thank you very much. Elliot will be a star at Leverkusen. I totally agree. I actually think for all his technical talent and his mental talent that he has in the game is his physical prowess, or not lack of prowess, lack of physicality that actually hampers him. And more so is his pace. That is what lets Elliot down, unfortunately. That's not his fault. That's just him. That's how he's built. But that lack of pace would work a little bit better in the Bundesliga, because the Bundesliga isn't as fast, and he would be a star player at Leverkusen. I totally agree. 126 million, is that the conversion of it? Urim, I hope I pronounced that right. 126 million pounds. If that's the conversion, then yeah, we're about 15 to 20 million ish off. But stop panicking. Stop panicking. It will get done. And I've seen a few comments through Twitter and other social media sites saying, we're not going to get this done. Somebody's going to snipe us. Another team's going to come in. No other team's going to come in, because there are very few teams in Europe at the moment that have the financial firepower that we have after the season we've had. Bearing in mind, we are looking at anywhere between 600 to 700 million income this year from prize funds, sponsorships, all that sort of stuff. We have got the money there. City dropped out of it because they've still got the charges hanging over their heads. And that's why I think their players coming into it. And that's why I think they've gone for Ryan Cherky. But also, Bayern Munich, he doesn't want to go there. Wirtz has categorically stated to Leverkusen now that he wants to come to Liverpool, and it's Liverpool only. But here is another factor they had to take into consideration as well. This is Internationals week. There are international games coming up, and Nagelsmann, I believe, has said that he doesn't want anything distracting the German squad, because they are in the semi-finals of this, I think it's the Nations League. I don't pay that much attention to international football, to be honest, so I think that's right. Semi-finals of the Nations League with Germany. He doesn't want any distractions, which is quite right. He's the manager. He's in charge. He wants his German squad to concentrate on that competition. And apparently he has said that he won't commission the interference of Wirtz having a medical. So there is every chance that this could run on until end of next week, quite easily, whilst they get the fees and that sorted out. So I think we just all had to take a bit of a breath on this, a little bit of a breath. Hey, Tom. Right, if this doesn't get done, there will be accusations of we tried, but we weren't really going to get it done. Here's Cherky instead. Yes, there is that slight possibility, but this feels different to. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of examples over the years. Tchouaméni was one example. Bellingham is another. Mbappe is another example, where there was always the rumours that we were going to get these big name players, but there was never really anything in it, never really any serious bids. Then obviously we had the situation a couple of seasons ago where apparently we put in a massive bid for Caicedo. I don't know whether that was bluster or not from Liverpool at that point in time, but this one feels a little bit different. We know we've put in concrete offers, and if we're putting in concrete offers of £109 million, we're going to up it. We are going to up it. It's not we're not messing around on this one. So that is my opinion on the whole Wirtz deal. Quanta. Oh, sorry. Right, Jen. Apparently, Quanta in the mix for him as well. Well, they have just lost. Can't get my words out. Jonathan Tah to Bayern Munich. So they do need a centre back. Quanta, a young up and coming centre back. Once game time, he could do a lot worse than going over to the Bundesliga runners-up. That's for certain. That could be a good move for him as well. Quanta or Elliot. The only concern I have about this is using our English players. We can't forget that we have to keep our quota of homegrown talent for registration purposes for the Champions League as well. So that is a thing that we have to get around more than anything else. Also, he wants us unlike exactly. That's what I'm saying, Jen. That is exactly what I'm saying. He has stated categorically that he wants to come to Liverpool, so there shouldn't be too much panic about it. It will get done. And as somebody else quite rightly pointed out in one of our chat groups, he could leave on a free next summer. So there is no way Leverkusen are going to dick around too much with the transfer fee at the risk of losing him a season later for a free. Or maybe 2 seasons. But there's no way they're going to miss out on that. I can't remember exactly whether it's 1 year or 2 years left on his contract, but I know it's not that long. I know they ain't going to want to miss out on this money. Not a chance. Not a chance. So that's the Wirtz thing. And you know what? I'm all right with it. I'm pretty calm about it. The only time I won't be calm about it is if we get to the start of the season and it's still not done in a couple of months' time. Then it's panicking. And Dicko, new sub, find it actually insane. There's still international games. Players should be off on holiday. Oh, now is that a controversial thing to say? Well, welcome, Ant. Thank you very much for subbing to the channel. And you know what? I am completely on board with what you say about that. I think it is utterly ridiculous that when the league season ends, all of a sudden the players have to go off and do 2 international matches. I mean, why? I'm not a fan of international games anyway, and I am a big believer that footballers are actually being overworked. There are way too many games. Sticking something like this in, it's not right. It's not right to have players after doing a 60, potentially 55 to 60 game season, if they've gone all the way in the league, all the way in the Champions League and the domestic cups, to then go on to do extra international matches. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So, and I completely agree with you on that. Completely. Let's have a look at this. Aid, Madrid are the fit. I can't see it. Why on again? I'll see your point. Madrid are the fear. Madrid are my fear because I absolutely detest Madrid with a passion. I think they're a horrible club. But when you got Rodrigo, who's already said that he wants to stay, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Bellingham in your side, attacking players wise, they don't need him. I can't see that happen. I really can't see it happening. Let's see. Jan, here's my take if I may. Ideally, we should have get it done before the first transfer market and before international duty. Obviously, teams like to hijack deals. Yeah, that is true. We do like to hijack deals. Well, not just Liverpool, but every team does. That I get that. Totally get it. But I think it's just because of the fee, more because of the money and also that's involved. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of time. And a very fair point on this as well, when it comes to sponsorships. Obviously, we have our new sponsor in Adidas, which starts, I think it's like the 1st of July, was it the 1st of August? I can't remember exactly. And Adidas are a big sponsor of Wirtz. So it's a good matchup. They will be, and if I remember rightly, I'm pretty sure I saw Adidas comment on one of Wirtz's Instagram posts with the like sort of the looking eyes emoji. Back to Jan. Let's have a look at this. This included, which goes on to national duty. A lot of Bayern players may or may not convince him. I don't think so. I don't think so. I can't see that happening, to be honest. Bayern's Bayern, and they're in Germany. I got a feeling that he wants to go and try something new now. And when we came in and with our convincing argument, and he's spoken to Slot and a few other players, and if it's to be believed, took him on a trip to Blackpool or whatever. Whatever we did, we convinced him, and I think he's just got his heart set on us. I really do. I really, really do. But Wirtz, we'll put that one to bed for the moment. We'll have a look at a couple of other things that have been going on. Kelleher. Caoimhin Kelleher. I think I'm going to put this out there and say just thank you very much to probably the best backup keeper I think I've ever seen in the club's history. What a goalkeeper he has been for us. And it looks like he's cemented a move now that Flekken has left Brentford to go to Leverkusen. Funny old thing. Looks like Kelleher is going to Brentford. The only thing I was a little bit surprised at was the transfer fee going up to 18 million with add-ons. I'm a little bit surprised that I thought it would have been more. But then again, that's only one fee that's been touted. Is it the most accurate one? I don't know. I was hoping maybe for around about the 25 mark for him. I think that's probably more accurate. But either or, I don't think anybody is going to begrudge Kelleher saying he wants first-team football. He wants to be a number one somewhere. I think he's done his time and he deserves that. Plus, with Marmadashvili coming in this summer as well, I can't follow him. So just best of luck to Kelleher. I hope he has a brilliant career wherever he ends up, whether that be Brentford or moves on from Brentford in a few years' time or whatever happens. I just hope he has a good career. He deserves it because the other day he's gone from this club as a backup goalkeeper with Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, the whole works in his back pocket. And he's still only like 26. He's got the rest of his career ahead of him, and he's won the lot. So fair play to him. I wish him all the best, more than anything else. And then I think the other bit of transfer news that came through today was about Kerkez. So Kerkez is, by the looks of it, our number one left-back target. The price for him is going to be around about 40 million with add-ons, more than likely. But I don't think we will pay all that up front. I think it's going to have to be worked out. I don't think there's going to be any issues with contracts and things like that. I think it's going to be quite easy going. Again, most of these things get stuck when it comes to negotiating with the clubs and how the payment structure comes about. But according to this, on Twitter, Kerkez has already agreed the move, so obviously he's quite happy with whatever he's going to get paid. But yeah, I can't see like the likes of that deal falling through either. I just imagine that for next season. Frimpong and Kerkez, two of the fastest fullbacks in Europe, both bombing down that wing. It'd be electric when you got the pace of those two on the wings. Of the fullbacks running down the wings. I think it'd be amazing to watch. It really would. Kerkez coming, I believe. I think Keller did. Jan, I think I'm sorry on that one, but yeah, that deal looks like it is going through for him going to Brentford with Kelleher. Kerkez coming. Yep. No, totally agree. Yeah, that's a fair point, Jen, as well. Michael Edwards is involved, so we know he's a tough negotiator and he doesn't take any crap from anyone when it comes to negotiations. We've seen how he's operated before in the past with the transfers that he has brought in, and I expect more of the same. I don't expect him to have changed his attitude or the way he does things. Quick bit of news. Yeah, it is looking very likely that Leverkusen want to use Quansah or Elliot as part of the Wirtz deal. Out of those two, I think it should be Elliot, personally, because I think he will get instant game time. I'm not saying that Quansah wouldn't eventually, but I think Harvey Elliot would go straight into that side. But then again, is he a Ten Hag sort of player? I guess we will find out over time whether he does actually make the move there or not. But that was a little bit of a surprise. Erik Ten Hag becoming the Leverkusen manager after Alonso went to Madrid. So that's a little bit different. Right. Okay, now here's a little side bit of transfer news. Sunderland are holding talks with Liverpool over a second loan spell for Jayden Danns, after he failed to make an appearance in his initial loan due to injury. So they want him back, but for a Premier League season. Now that, I think, would be a fantastic move if he stays fit. If he goes to Sunderland and gets a year's Premier League experience under his belt, that could work out really, really well for him, for us, for everyone. It's a win-win. As long as Sunderland do okay and give him the opportunities, I think he will do all right there. Going through some of the other transfer news here, and there isn't a lot else to go through on this Sunday. Besides, that was another one. So, I'm waiting for it to load up. Apparently, Liverpool are also interested in a left winger. Now, this is probably heating up a little bit from the rumoured potential transfer of Diaz going out to Saudi Arabia. Possibly. Whether that actually happens or not, I don't know. Do I want to see Diaz leave? No. But is he a player, in my opinion, that is irreplaceable? Again, no. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Diaz situation, actually, because I find this is a little bit of a polarizing opinion about him. He's had a fantastic season, but for me, he can have those dips in form, and when they dip, he becomes very one-dimensional, and it can affect the team so to speak. Let's have a look at this. Right. Okay. I think El Scouser 8, I think we're safe with Wirtz. He doesn't seem the peer pressure type, very focused on his role. Plus his family, yeah, his mum and dad are his agents, so they have a big role to play in this. And I think if his parents are happy, that makes him happy, and that makes him pretty much, I don't want to say like an absolute 100% certainty, because anything can happen at the last minute, but I think it's all right. I think it's all right. Red goals. How do we know Edwards is involved, given Hughes is a sporting director? I think Edwards is involved purely just for his... I know he is the overall runner of FSG operations for football, so to speak, or soccer as the Americans call it. But he will still have a say in how the money is spent. He will be working with Richard Hughes. Yeah, Richard Hughes is the one that he's the sporting director. He'll go out and work with the scouts and find the players, and then they'll work out the valuations and the transfer offers and then the contracts and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still spending FSG's money, and that still has to go through Michael Edwards. So he will still have to say so, regardless. So he will definitely be involved. Okay, so let's have a Justin Ulysses. I rate Dan's very high. Dan's is a very good player, but unfortunately, he's picked up some real, not nasty injuries, but niggly injuries that have hampered his progress a little bit. And when that happens, I do worry for the younger players when they pick up injuries that keep them out for quite a while, how much that will actually hamper their progress. Dan's clearly has something to offer, but he needs to stay fit and he needs the game time. They're the two key things at the end of the day. And if you don't stay fit, you don't get the game time. And it's a vicious circle. It's a bit difficult. I apologize if anybody heard any aircraft flying over. Sorry about that. I don't know whether that came through on the mic. Right, let's have a little wrap of the transfer news here. Right, well, just have a little scour of Twitter, seeing if anything else is cropping up, but it doesn't look like it is at the moment. Back to the Diaz thing. Guys, leave your comments down below. Let's have a little chat about Luis Diaz. Does Luis Diaz stay this summer, or does he go? And if he does go, how much for? Bearing in mind, we know that he's on a lower wage than most of the squad, and he's only got a couple of years left. Who knows? I think, actually, as well, isn't Diaz 28 now? 28, possibly? And he'd need at least another 2 or 3 years on his contract. And we know how our club operates when it comes to giving contracts for players pushing over 30. Obviously, the exceptions being Van Dijk and Salah. But generally speaking, unless you're absolutely world-class like those two, contracts are very few and far between for players going into that age range. That's one of the reasons why I think I can see Diaz going. But I'm going to say, let me know if you agree with that. If we can get Dan's Premier experience, that is going. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. If that is the case and he goes on loan for a season and he stays fit and he gets that Premier League experience, notches up a few goals for Sunderland, maybe even helps Sunderland to survive their first season in the Premier League. Because let's face it, all three teams coming up are all favourites to go back down again. He may be the one to actually help them. And again, that's a win-win for us, and it's a win for him as well. Right, looking at the time here, we're pushing on to 25 minutes, and I am going to wrap it up there. But before I go, make sure you do leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. Again, please do all the good stuff. Hit that bell icon as well, so you get notifications. These streams will be coming out virtually every day, barring any mishaps. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Talking Reds. I'm Stu, your host. I'll see you later. Ta-ra.